All right, let's get started with the basic drawing tools. There are 10 of them over here in the large tool set. Go ahead and press L on your keyboard. That will switch you to the line tool. We'll use these kinds of keyboard shortcuts throughout the course. Notice that it automatically selected this pencil icon over here on your tool palette for the line tool. Now the line tool is a two-click tool. So here's what we mean. Go ahead and somewhere on your drawing window, click once and let go of your mouse button. Then move your mouse. Anywhere on the screen is fine. Then click again, and you'll have drawn yourself a line or an edge in SketchUp. Now move your cursor, and you'll notice that you have an edge attached to it. So you're already starting to draw your next edge. This is known as a rubber band line. Go ahead and click anywhere, and you'll finish drawing that edge. And you'll notice now that with each new click, you'll just draw another edge, and another edge, and another edge. Now let's say you don't want to continue drawing edges. You're all done. Anytime that you want to get rid of an operation in progress, you want to get out of this thing that you already started doing, hit the Escape key on your keyboard. And in this case, the rubber band line will go away. You'll see how the Escape key works with other tools as well. Now let's contrast this way of using the mouse to the other way that you're probably going to do by default. So here's what I mean by that. Somewhere on your screen, click and hold down on the mouse button and drag your mouse and let go. At first glance, you were also able to draw an edge, so it seems like everything's working fine. But notice that you don't have the rubber band line attached to your cursor. So this means that you lost a bit of functionality by using the mouse what I'm going to call the wrong way in SketchUp. So for all of the tools in SketchUp, or at least most of them, most of the time, you'll want to use the original method, which again is to click and let go of the mouse button, move your cursor, and then click and let go of the mouse button. It will sometimes give you extra functionality, like what we can see here, and in general, it will help the tools all function properly. I'll hit the Escape key again here. If you're following along, go ahead and hit the Escape key. It's going to be natural though, and you'll do this throughout the courses, because it's just the way we use our computers and other programs, to click and drag and let go. Even if it's successful for what you're doing, try as hard as you can to discipline yourself to click and let go, move the mouse, click and let go, move the mouse. Okay, we'll cover that a few more times throughout the course. It's very important, but for now, let's go ahead and hit the Escape key on your keyboard in case you're in the middle of something. And we're going to quickly cover all of the other two-click tools. So with the line tool, the two clicks are click number 1 to set the first endpoint, then click number 2 sets a second endpoint, and in between those two endpoints, an edge is drawn. So again, I'll hit the Escape key here. Press R on your keyboard. That will switch you to the rectangle tool. It's a two-click tool, so click once anywhere on your screen, move the mouse, and you'll see this rectangle starting to be drawn here. Go ahead and click a second time anywhere on your screen, and you'll draw a rectangle. 2 clicks, we set up one endpoint, and then we set up the opposite corner's endpoint. 4 edges were automatically drawn, and now you see something new. A surface or a face was filled in. In SketchUp, all we have are 3 things: endpoints, edges, and faces. We'll get into that more later. Okay, there are 2 more two-click tools. Press C on your keyboard to switch to the circle tool. Anywhere on your screen, click once, move the mouse, and click again. The first click was to set the center of the circle, and the second click established the radius for the circle. Again, a surface filled in. Now the last of the two-click tools is the Polygon tool, but we have to hover over and click on the Polygon tool here on the toolbar. It doesn't have a keyboard shortcut by default. So click on the Polygon tool, move over into your screen, and it works similar to the circle tool. Click once anywhere, move the mouse, and click again. The first click was for the center, and the second click, it's for the radius, but it's called the inscribed radius. And we'll get into more details about the Polygon tool later. So we had the 4 2-click tools. Let's talk about some of the 3-click tools now. Press A for the arc tool. It's actually the 2-point arc tool. When you hover over any tool on the tool set, it will not only tell you the name of the tool, here it says 2-point arc, but it also has an A in brackets. That tells me the keyboard shortcut in case I forget. So this is going to be a 3-click tool. Anywhere on your screen, it doesn't matter where. Click once, move your mouse, click a second time, move your mouse again, and you'll notice as you're moving your mouse that you're determining the bulge for this arc. Go ahead and click a third time, and you've drawn yourself an arc. Click number 1 was for one endpoint, click number 2 was for a second endpoint, and click number 3 established the bulge or arc length for the arc. Okay, let's quickly go through the others. Just to the left of the 2-point arc tool, hover over it, and you'll see that it's called the arc tool. It doesn't have a keyboard shortcut by default, so you'll have to click on it in the large tool palette. Again, we'll need to make 3 clicks. So anywhere on your screen, click once, move your mouse anywhere, click a second time, move your mouse anywhere, and click a third time. So in this case, the first click was a point about which click number 2 and click number 3 would rotate the arc. So it's being drawn about that original point. Click 2 is the first endpoint, click 3 is the second endpoint, and the first click was setting up how those would draw. Let's go ahead and caddy corner here on the tool palette. We have the pie tool. Go ahead and click on that. It works just like the arc tool that we just used. So 3 clicks, click once, anywhere on your screen, click again a second time, anywhere on your screen, and then click again a third time, anywhere on your screen. And you'll notice the difference is that it fills in the pie wedge, works just the same as the regular arc tool, but fills in that wedge where there's a couple of extra edges and then a face that fills in. Now the last of all of these arc-like tools, there's 4 of them, also a 3-click tool, is this one here called the 3-point arc. You hover over it. If you hover over it, you'll see the name. Go ahead and click on it. And anywhere on your screen again, there'll be 3 clicks. So click once somewhere, move your mouse, click a second time, move your mouse, and you'll see what's happening here. The first click was to set an endpoint, and the second click is a point that this arc will have to travel through. And then the third click will end, and you'll see that you have that final endpoint of the arc. So a little bit of a different way to draw an arc. We'll touch on exactly why and how and when to use all of these tools in future lessons. We're just quickly going through and warming up now. Now there's one more 3-click tool, and it's called the rotated rectangle. So if you hover over, there's the rectangle on the left of the tool palette, and on the right here, it's the rotated rectangle. Go ahead and click once on that. And hover over one of the surfaces in your model. I'll hover over the surface I have here for the rectangle, but you can hover over any of the surfaces. And this will be a 3-click tool. So click once somewhere on the surface, then move your mouse and click a second time somewhere on the surface, and then move your mouse again in either direction, and then click a third time. So what happened here was that we were able to draw a rectangle, just like the original rectangle, only we were able to start out with a certain rotation to that rectangle. So these are the 3-click tools. 4 arc-like tools plus the rotated rectangle. We have our original 2-click tools we already covered, line, rectangle, circle, and polygon. And then the last of the basic drawing tools is this little squiggle, the freehand line. Go ahead and click once on that. Now this is one of the rare tools in SketchUp that you have to use the mouse, what I would call, the wrong way. So what do I mean by that? It's a 1-click tool where you click and hold down on your mouse button anywhere on your screen, and then move your mouse all over the place, and then let go. And you've drawn yourself a freehand line. The freehand line tool works in this way with the mouse. Almost all of the other tools in SketchUp, you do not want to use the mouse this way. Okay, so we did a quick warm-up there. We got all of the tools going in one go. You should Definitely click around on the tools themselves, practice your keyboard shortcuts, and draw as many shapes and lines and edges as you want to just warm up with using the mouse the right way, and warm up to the idea of 2 clicks for certain tools, 3 clicks for other tools, and of course then the freehand line has a single click. Once you feel comfortable that you've tried out the 2 clicks and the 3 clicks and how to use your mouse correctly, I want you to have a clean white screen to get started with the next lesson. So how do you do that? Well, in SketchUp, there's an unlimited number of undo and redo. So what do I mean by that? I mean that these arrows that we had you put on the top of your toolbar, the left arrow is the undo arrow, the right arrow is the redo arrow. So go ahead and click on the undo arrow and it'll undo the last thing that you did. You can keep on clicking on the undo arrow and you can go back as far as you want. Now the undo and redo, just try out the redo for size, it brings it back. There's more than one way to do this. So we have the arrow icons here, but you can also go to your top menu and under the edit menu, you'll see that you have undo and redo. This is similar to most applications that you use on your computer. And you'll see that there are some keyboard shortcuts for undo and redo. They should be the same as they are for other applications on your computer. So you're welcome to use keyboard shortcuts. You're welcome to use the edit menu. But for right now, I'll just use these arrows as a convenient shortcut. And I want you to undo back until you have a clean white screen. And this will get you ready for the next lesson.